Howdy team. In this episode I wanted to give you a simple formula that you can use for building a business, but not just building any business, building a successful, profitable business. Because I know from my journey that we have times where, and you may feel this too, you overcomplicate it and you're sometimes unsure what metrics you really need to be tracking in order to be able to move forward. And in many respects, you may lose sight of where you're going, what you need to do. You may drop the ball on a few things in terms of the numbers that you need to be monitoring. Everyone talks about KPIs, key performance indicators, and tracking. But are you actually really doing it? I think this is one of the most vital things, that if you understand this really basic principle, you are going to be successful as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a self-employed person, whatever it might well be. And you'll be surprised at how simple this is. But I want to give you some context first. The main thing you need to think about is your life. We all started our own business and you will have your reasons for doing it. Maybe it was the fact that you didn't like your boss. Maybe you thought you could do it better than your boss. Maybe you had a falling out that forced you to want to go self-employed. Or for like so many of my mentees, maybe it was the thought of actually building a business around your lifestyle, having more time to do what you love with who you love. Spend time with your family, your friends, your children. From 2009 up until 2020, I had an office, premises that I went to every single day. And it was only due to COVID and Corona that my office went when the lease expired, and I had a home studio office built, and I now see my children and my wife more than I ever have done. And that lifestyle balance has been amazing. And I think it's really, really important that the first thing we think about, and you think about, in building your business is your own personal goal income. How much does your dream lifestyle actually cost you? How much will it cost you? How much would it cost you? How much could it cost you? Because once you put a number on it, and this is kind of the sad thing, is some people say, oh, I'm not motivated by money. Oh, money doesn't do this. I'm not being funny, but money buys you the things that make your life easier. Holidays, cars, lifestyle, schools, time out, dinners with the family, events, trips, all this stuff. We've talked about my wife and I having a fourth child, but one, we have a 4-bedroom house, so that would mean that 2 of the children would have to share. The next thing is we would have to then change car. Holiday prices go up. Everything gets way more expensive. And we have 3 fit, healthy, strong, lovely children. And there's the risk that the 4th may well not be. And I would rather focus on giving the 3 that I have the best life possible, rather than stretching myself, killing myself for the sake of one more. And it's sad because, I love the fact of having a little baby running around the house and going through that little painstaking point for 18 months to 2 years where you get no sleep. But you need to control your income and your output. So going back to the original point of how do you build the most successful and profitable business? You just need to monitor the numbers, but it all starts with your personal income. And then what you need to do is you need to start monitoring the numbers within your business. So the numbers that you need to monitor in your business are leads, conversion rate to sale, average sale value, and then profit margin. If you monitor those metrics and you can just increase those a little bit, you will have a significant impact on your business. Now, let's say, for example, let's say you get 100 leads in the month and your conversion rate is 15%. If you get that to 20%, then you're doing more deals and you're making more money. Let's say you keep the same 15% conversion rate, but you manage to increase your average sale value from 1,000 to 2,000. All of a sudden, you're doing the same number of deals, but you've doubled your income. Then you've got your profit margin. If your profit margin is 10% and you go and sack off a load of expenses, I just got rid of an office, in 2020 for the first time in 11 years. That's £18,000 a year saved. all of a sudden the profit margin increases as a direct result of that. And that's how simple you can keep your business. But what you need to focus on, and this is where I think so many of you potentially go wrong, and I did this for 10 years. It took me 10 years to realize my biggest mistake. The best businesses and the best business owners are the ones who understand marketing. Because what is at the top of the funnel? What is going to drive your ability to convert to sales? Your ability to increase your average sale value? Your ability to improve your profit margins? Your leads. If you reduce your lead cost, your profit margins go up. If you convert more from lead to sale, your sales go up. If you attract more of the right client into your business, then your average sale goes up. So everything comes and starts with lead generation. But often as business owners, as self-employed people, and I did this too, this is why I'm so passionate about it, is you just focus on, I focused on the metrics, but I didn't focus on the fact that I was spending £20,000 a month and how can I generate these leads more effectively. I didn't put a manager in place to make sure that the conversion rate from lead to sale was as good and as profitable as it could be. I didn't have a manager in place to make sure that the sales were actually being sold effectively. And we were doing a life insurance business for 7 years, and I didn't realize, but quite a few of my advisors were sacrificing commission rather than actually selling, but sacrificing commission in order to be able to win the deal. They weren't doing a proper job. But investing in a sales manager that might have cost me 30 grand a year might have made me 90 grand a year. And this is where so many go wrong. And I don't know if you can relate to this. I would love to know if you do. You just need to message me or connect with me or comment, and I'd love to see if you maybe feel that you've done this too. Because once you get your head around the simplistics of business and you monitor the key metrics in your business, the leads that come in, the conversion rate to sale, the average sale value, and your profit margin, all of a sudden everything gets more simple. Now you can monitor as well, depending on the business that you're in. You know, in financial services it's quite tricky, but you could look at the amount of transactions that somebody does with you. I don't know if you're anything like me, but when you go to a supermarket, there's a reason why they put those aisles at the end with all the offers on, because as you're walking past, you always pick up a couple of extra items. My wife says I'm a nightmare. I do all the online shopping on Tesco's, and what happens? There's a couple of things that I like, don't really need them, but then they go and put them in a bundle of 4 for the price of £5. And that is just an absolute nightmare. I'm like, buy, 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 buy. They're increasing the amount of transactions that I make, therefore increasing the average sale, therefore increasing the profit margins. And this is the big, big thing. It's hard to do in financial services, but you know, your client's only going to realistically buy one house a year. You know, in financial planning or will writing, you might do annual reviews. So you can't really, in financial services, increase the number of transactions per se in a year, but you can increase your average sale value, which is why I focus mostly on those metrics. So I would urge you to focus on those metrics and on those numbers. And I would urge you to become an expert at marketing, an expert at lead generation. And this is one of the things that I'm most passionate about. I talk about a 4-step process. And I did a workshop on this very, very recently. And it used to be a 3-step process, but I added an extra piece because I realized that it was the missing element. So it's personal brand. It's then attracting your right customer. It's knowing your right customer. So personal brand, number 1. Knowing your customer is number 2. Gaining the attention of that ideal customer, so grabbing them. And then the 4th thing is doubling your sales. But it's not sales in the sense of what I did years ago, where I used to sit there cold calling, door knocking, buying low quality leads, ringing 100 numbers, getting 99 no's to get 1 yes. It is now the ability to socially sell, pre-sell, attract your clients rather than what we call push marketing. Now, I'm sure you'll agree that, like me, referrals are the best form of introduction and client that you can get. Someone who's actually needs your product or service and someone else has turned around to them and said, hey, go and talk to Gary, go and talk to Kathy, go and talk to John, go and talk to Anish, whatever it might well be. They are the best source of client. There's hardly any friction because you are the logical choice and they really want to buy from you. And this is what you can do too. By understanding what you stand for and what you stand against. Your friends are your friends because of who you are, not because of the job that you do. When you understand social media and networking effectively, you build your personal brand. You know, on my workshop, I talked about Joe Wicks. He's not the best personal trainer. He's not the best chef, but he is the most known. He was the only one that you saw doing, 8 a.m. workouts during the COVID environment. He made £1.2 million worth of sales in 6 weeks because he put himself out there, because he helped others, because he had passion and showed other people how to, get up in the morning and do a workout. And are you really putting yourself out there and building a personal brand? More often than not, I see a lot of people, maybe you've done this too, let me know if you have, who have made excuses that you can't do a video. You can't put content out there. Joe Wicks has done them in his living room. I'm doing this now from my office with a little mic talking to you with my phone on a stand. There's no sexy equipment. There's nothing at all other than that. Everybody's got a phone. You can buy a mic on Amazon for £10 and you can build a personal brand. You can then share a message by knowing who your exact customer is. When you try and talk to everybody, you appeal to nobody. And the problem with that is you're then fishing in a huge pond with everybody else. You're a commoditized business. So when you become laser focused on who you want to target, and I talk about the supermarket analogy, Lidl, Aldi, Morrisons, Sainsbury's, Tesco's, M&S, they all have, Waitrose, they all have their ideal demographic that they want to target. They know whether they are cheap and trying to attract the masses. They know whether they are more expensive and trying to attract, let's call it middle class, for example. But it doesn't mean that me as a Tesco shopper doesn't go to Marks and Spencer's if I'm in town because I fancy a really nice steak or a little Chinese takeaway. That I actually prefer those little Chinese takeaway things in there than I do in the Chinese takeaway shop. If you've never had the little Chinese takeaway stuff, the little bag for two, or any of the other Chinese stuff, get yourself to M&S. Anyway, I digress. But that's the thing. They understand their demographic. They understand the supermarkets, who they want to attract. And you can do the same thing too. You just need to identify who that customer is and who you love to work with 5 times a day, 5 days a week, 52 weeks of a year. Because when you know that, when you know the one person that you really want to speak to, and you might think that you're going to lose out, but you're not, because you're going to gain the market in a bigger environment. You then have the opportunity to attract them through social media, through SEO, through email marketing, through Facebook ads. But the attention phase is all about putting the right content out. Are you doing video, audio, podcasting, blogs, LinkedIn articles, all the social media channels, stories, personal brand, articles, magazines, being featured in the press? There's 1,000,001 ways in which you can grab somebody's attention. Facebook groups, there's so many different options that you can do. It's knowing which ones work for you, your client, your niche, your opportunity. And then the problem, as I said on the workshop, is that Mark Zuckerberg is almost like Thanos, if you've seen the Avengers films. He controls so much of the world's population and the attention that if you leave your customers in social media, in something that you don't own, like Medium, which is a blogging website, on your podcast, just listening to you, if you're not taking them from social media and the world that's out there and bringing them into your own world where you control their data, be it their phone number, their email address, whatever it is, then you are risking your future. Because if Thanos, aka Mark Zuckerberg, clicks his fingers, your business is gone. Not just your business, but your leads, your opportunities, your prospects, your potential sales of the future. And this is where step number 4 is about selling, but pre-selling. The attention that you grab of the customers that you want will start coming to you. And then what you do is you offer them something for free in order to be able to attract their email address and their phone number to get them onto your database so that you can win. Because then you get the opportunity, you own the name and the number. And I shared slides and examples of how I've attracted leads onto my database that I now own for as little as 64p on the latest ads that I've run, for as much as £7 on some of the ones that we've now stopped. Now, if you imagine for a moment getting leads into your database for 64p, in the last 5-6 weeks, I've spent roughly £621, and that's been leads for 64p on average, roughly. So I've added roughly £900 to my database. I've roughly added 900 leads to my database in the space of 4 or 5 weeks. Now, if over time 1% of those were to convert, that's potentially 8 or 9 sales at an average of £2,370 odd pounds, which is our current average deal. We've made £22,000. If you did one £100,000 mortgage, or your average sale was 350 quid, you've got 8 times £350, which is what, 2,800, I think, or something along those kind of lines. Would you spend £621 to make roughly 3 grand back? Of course you would. But it's understanding marketing and understanding the process that you need to be able to go through in order to be able to set this up for yourself, particularly in financial services, but in a hell of a lot of other industries. It's not your fault. It's the industry's fault. I made this mistake for 10 years. I relied on introducers and lead providers rather than building my own business. In the fitness industry, they've been doing this for ages. In loads of other industries, they've been doing it. You capture somebody's attention, you get them into your world. Quizzes, ebooks, mini courses, cheat sheets, guides, things that make your or somebody else's life easier. And then you have the ability to build a relationship. The bigger your database is that you own, the bigger results you get in your business. And if you have the ambition of potentially selling it in the future, who knows what your job will be in 5, 10, 15, 20 years. But if you have that ambition, the one thing that's going to make it more valuable is a consistent flow of leads, decent average conversions, and good average sale, and decent profit margins. When you lower your expenses on marketing, which you can only take control of, you can then increase the value of your business. So if I can urge you to do one thing today, it is going to be to start understanding marketing. It will transform your life, as it has done for me without a doubt, going from trapped and anxious and worried in 2015 through to having more success, more leads, more sales and more profit, but also more time with the ones that I love to do more of what I love. And it seems to be, the more I build my personal brand, the more people I try and help like you, the more results that I get. The more I give for free, the more the trickle down revenue comes into my businesses, whether it be my mortgage brokerage or whether it be my coaching and mentoring space, where I've got hundreds of financial services professionals that I help to create lead, sales and profit. So understand marketing, build a personal brand, know your customer better than you know yourself, attract and understand how to gain their attention, and then do the new form of selling, which is pre-selling, getting them onto your database and working smarter rather than harder. I hope that gives you something to think about, and I hope you've enjoyed this episode.